Okay guys, in this video, so we are going to configure additional interface of this checkpoint SMB firewall. So we have configured this LAN interface already, and then again, so we have configured this WAN interface again. Okay, so we have the internet access currently of this checkpoint SMB firewall. Now to objective to create this DMC interface. That means I'm going to place Active Directory server. That means my server network on a different sub network. Okay, so guys, most of the small and medium businesses we have flat network, right? So but it's not recommended to have this flat network because the thing is, if one device is compromised, so there's a high chance of getting other devices in compromise in a the same network. Like for example, this Windows 10 is compromised, then you can see there's a no security device in between these devices, right? So these are on the switch level, so then there are high chance of getting infected these devices because of a lateral movement, because these are on one broadcast domain. So it's very common and best practice is to have multiple networks, that means fragmented networks, segmented networks. So we can achieve this using the VLAN concept. Okay, so I'll more talk about this VLANs and segmented networks in the coming upcoming videos. So currently I'm going to configure this server network. So I want to segment from this LAN networks, that mean internal network. So I need to separate it from LAN network. So then I'm going to place these servers inside this VMnet tree, that mean in the DMC port. Then so if you have multiple servers, you require switch here. Okay, virtual switch or hardware switch like this. Then all these devices required to connect to this switch. Okay, and like this, so you can have multiple servers. Okay, this, let's say this one S1, and let's say this one is 2. So these are the different so multiple servers you can connect it to the switch, and then uplink can be connected to this DMC port here. Okay, so I'm going to configure this server network as 192.168.10 series. So that is actually the /24 network. So you can see the AD server IP is 192.168.10.10. Then the gateway IP for this server network will be 192.168.10.254. That is the DMC interface IP address. Then I will be creating some internal rule, that means firewall access rules to access these Windows 10 devices to AD server through the firewall, and both ways, that means bidirectional, both Windows 10 to these servers and servers to Windows these internal PCs will be communicating each other through the firewall. Okay, so if I want, I can block the certain access from different devices, so I can only allows the required services to these devices. For example, I can enable the FIN, DNS, and only that LDAP services to these devices, because other services I don't require to give these devices. Okay, that kind of a control I can do using this firewall. Okay, I'll talk more about that thing. So let me go to that my checkpoint firewall. Okay, so let me go to configure it. I'm going to maximize this one. I'm going to log in. You can see it's successfully authenticated now. So we are going to configure additional interfaces. For in order to configure these interfaces, you require to go to the devices, and you need to come to this network. So under this network, so you can see it's clearly, so we have the internet configuration, that means internet ports you can configure from here. So you can see we have already configured the one of internet connection. In the later video, we'll add another internet connection, that means multiple WAN links will be add to here. Okay, then you can see the local interfaces, LAN interfaces from here under the local network. So there are four interfaces currently available here. So you can see the DMC interface, LAN 1, LAN 2, LAN 3. So LAN 1 is, you can see, by default, when the firewall is shipped with the factory default setting, so the default IP is 192.168.1.1, that is assigned to LAN 1. So we have changed it to different network like this 192.168.2.254. Okay, so you can see it's up and running. LAN 1 is up and running, and these other interfaces is currently disabled. Okay, so we require to enable these certain ports. We require to configure the IP address settings here. Okay, so if I go to my VMware workstation here, you can see, so we have discussed the port order of these devices. So you can see, so if I go to this again, this network diagram, so VMnet 3 is assigned to this, will be assigned to this DMZ port, and again you can see VMnet 4 is assigned to this LAN 1, VMnet 1 is assigned to this first WAN interface, and VMnet 0 is assigned to the LAN 2. Okay, so the VMnet 3 is representing the DMZ network. So if I go to this server, so let me turn on this AD server here. So before that, you can see the VMnet 3 is configured to network adapter 2. Okay, and let me go to turn on this AD server. So I'm going to power on that AD server. So this has, I have configured the one of Windows Server 2016 version is running on under these devices. Okay, so once it is turning on, so I can go to this checkpoint firewall again, and this one is the port order. As you can see, this one is the WAN interface, WAN 1, and this one is you can see the DMZ. VMnet 3 is DMZ. Then it will start the LAN interfaces, LAN 1, LAN 2, LAN 3. That is the order of this port order of this virtual firewall. Okay, and I require to this AD server to the VMnet 3. So I'm going to the custom here. I'm going to select VMnet 3 here. Then this AD server and the checkpoint firewall DMZ port will on the same network. Okay, let me click OK. So so I can go to this ITPC again. Okay, so I can go to the DMZ port here. Okay, so you can select these different ports to configure here. Okay, so I'm going to configure this DMZ port, then I can edit here. Okay, so you can see the options we have under the new option here. So we can add bridge, we can add VLAN, alias, VPN tunnel, bond. These are I'm going to discuss later. Okay, so I'm going to edit this interface here, and you can see its current status is unassigned. So under the edit DMZ port, this is the port settings. You can see different options. We have advanced settings, access policy, DHCP versions, port settings. That means you can enable and DHCP server for this kind of a port. Okay, and I'm going to assign separate network to this port, and you can see the local IPv address then available, and subnet mask also available here, and you can see the DHCP server settings. So I'm going to put the IP address as 192.168.10 network. The gateway will be 10.254. That is the interface IP address for this DMZ port. Then I will add this as a class C network. Then 192.168.10.0 networks 0/224 network will be used for this server network. You can see I'm not going to change this subnet mask. Okay, and you can see there are options used to hotspot when connecting this network. That means it can be redirect users to hotspot portal before allowing access from these interfaces. So I'll discuss this in later. Okay, then I have options to enable and disable DHCP server for these devices. That means if you enable, so all of these devices connected to these interfaces will get the DHCP settings. That means automatically IP address will be get from this interface. Okay, I will talk this thing later, but currently I'm going to disable this DHCP server settings. So if I go to the advanced settings, I can configure the MTU size. Okay, so then you can if I go to the access policy, you can see, so you have options in firewall standard policy mode. You can log traffic from this network to the local network also. And again, so you can allow access from this network to local networks. If you set to this one, then automatic policies will be set under the firewall rules. Okay, I'm not going to click that thing, so I'll explain later. Then if I go to the DHCP version 4 settings, so if you enable the DHCP here, okay, then this DHCP version 4 settings will be available here. Then you can configure the DNS servers under this DHCP settings. That means if one of the PC gets the automatic IP configuration, so it included the DNS server settings also. Then you can see the default gateway and WINS settings also related to this DHCP version 4 settings. So I'll come back to separate video when we configure the DHCP automatic IP configurations for this network. Okay, currently I'm going to apply these settings here. You can see the port is up and running. You can see the speed and the full exit in the MAC address. Those informations can be see. Okay, and then if I go to my AD server here, so let me log into this AD server. So I have configured the domain in this server. So you can see the elab is the domain. Okay, Active Directory domain configurations I have been configured. Let me log into this Active Directory server. And let's wait few minutes. Okay, so I want to go to the network configurations. So I can go to the network configuration here, open network settings. So I can go to the properties. TCP/IP configurations here. So I'm using the following IP address. So I'm going to configure 192.168.10.10 as this IP address. Then that will be the class C address. Then I need to set the default gateway here, 192.168.10.254. That is the newly created interface of this checkpoint firewall DMZ port. Then I'm setting I will be add as a local host as my DNS server, because this is the AD server. Okay, then what I can do is I can open CMD here. Okay, so let me maximize. Okay, so I can able to ping this my gateway whether the port is up and running. You can see, so I'm able to ping this DMZ port. Okay, then that's mean the port is working. So the connection is possible from this server to firewall. So this is on a separate network, 192.168.10 network as per my network diagram. So this is the server. So I have configured the network setting on this server. So I'm able to pin this port. Okay, so that's how to configure different ports under this checkpoint firewall, how you assign the IP address to these different ports. Okay, so then the next video my objective is to allow the traffic between this internal network to this server network. Okay, so in the next video we will see that configuration. Thank you very much.